Good morning, good morning. We are in our tarot study of the Magician. I think today is the last new card I have to show you, to share with you. So we're just going to go through the tarot cards that we've gone through real quick, and then I'll show you the book and the new one. Okay, so here is the original Rider-Waite Magician, Wandering Star. This is in no particular order. This one, we didn't really talk too much about it yesterday, and I feel bad about that. But I like the weaves and stuff behind her. Like it feels like something's happening, like she's creating something, right? And I like that it's showing like intuition with like the eye, floating eye. It feels like the third eye, kind of like she's using her third eye. The only thing that I don't like, it feels like she's like with the one card we talked about, it didn't like this one. This one didn't feel like to me like it had enough fire, which I know sounds weird. Like I like the balance of all the elements, and then but this one, even though it doesn't really show it for some reason, maybe it's just because the colors are represented, it feels a little bit more like there's a little bit more balance in the elements. Interesting. Okay. Focus. And then you have the Tarot of the Divine. You have the Wildwood Tarot. Look, I think I found the sweet spot of what's it called? Focus. The Magician. Obviously it's the Magician. That's the Tarot of the Abyss, the Star Tarot, the Good Tarot, and the Tarot of Mystical Moments. And then today's tarot is the Illuminated Tarot. I should have looked at the box. I'm sorry. But shimmer, shimmer, shimmer. Let you look at that one more time. Okay. It matches the book we're going to read today. So let's see if we can figure this out. So we're doing 78 degrees of wisdom here. There we go. That's what it is. By Rachel Pollack. There's our card. There's the back of it if you wanted to see the back for some reason, whatever reason. Okay. 78 Degrees of Wisdom, A Tarot Journey to Self-Awareness, by Rachel Pollack. The Magician. The Magician emerges very directly from the Fool in the image of the trickster wizard. As mentioned above, Merlin fulfills both these roles, as well as that of teacher and wise man, and many other myths make the same connection. Earlier tarot decks pictured Trump number 1 as a conjurer rather than a magus or even a juggler tossing colored balls in the air. Charles Williams described him as a juggler tossing stars and planets. Most modern images of the Trump follow Waite's wizard, raising a magic wand to bring into reality the spirit force, the energy of life in its most creative form. He holds the wand carefully, aware of the psychic power the Fool carried so lightly on his shoulder. Thus, the Magician, as the beginning of the major arcana proper, represents consciousness, action, and creation. He symbolizes the idea of manifestation, that is, making something real out of the possibilities in life. Therefore, we see the 4 emblems of the minor arcana lying on the table in front of him. He not only uses the physical world for his magical operations, the 4 emblems are all objects used by wizards in their rituals, but he also creates the world in the same sense of giving life a meaning and direction. The Magician stands surrounded by flowers to remind us that the emotional and creative power we feel in our lives needs to be grounded in physical reality for us to get any value from it. Unless we make something of our potentials, they do not really exist. In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. The Bible begins at the moment the spirit descends into physical reality. For us, in the physical world, we could talk of nothing before that moment. In the linking of the tarot with the Hebrew alphabet, The fool often receives the first letter, Aleph. Aleph bears no sound. It is a silent carrier of vowels and therefore symbolizes nothingness. It is the first letter of the Ten Commandments. This would assign the second letter, Beth, to the first letter with the actual sound. To the magician, Beth is the first letter of Genesis. Look at Waite's picture of the magician. He is not casting spells or conjuring out demons. He simply stands with one hand raised to the heaven and the other pointed to the green earth. He is a lightning rod. By opening himself up to spirit, he draws it down into himself, and then that downward hand, like a lightning rod buried in the ground, runs the energy into the earth, into reality. Sorry. The light language wanted to come out. They had something to say about that, apparently. We see many accounts of the descent of the Spirit in the Bible and other religious texts and in the contemporary religious experience. People speak in tongues in Pentecostal churches. They scream and shout and roll on the floor at gospel meetings. The priest giving communion sees himself as a vessel or a channel for the Holy Ghost, but we can see this experience in much simpler, non-religious terms as well. People tremble with excitement at sporting events. I'm so excited I could burst. In a new love affair or at the start of a new career, we feel a power filling us. You can sometimes see people at the opening of some important phase in their lives, tapping their legs up and down, half bouncing in their seats, filled with some energy that they cannot seem to discharge. And writers and artists, when their work is going well, will experience themselves as almost passive channels for a spirit-like force. The word inspiration originally meant filled with holy breath, and derives from the same root as spirit. Notice that all of these examples, all but the priests and the artists, are seized with a frenzy. The possessed churchgoer and the teenager about to burst at a football game share the feeling that their bodies are overwhelmed by a power too great for it. Far from being gentle, the surge of energy can be almost painful. The person in religious fervor shouts and leaps in order to release an unbearable energy. This is a lot. Sorry, it's like, okay, so here's all of that, and then there's even more. It goes all the way there. Okay. Whew. Are we going to read this whole thing? I don't know. We'll see. I listened to this whole book before, but I like going through and doing these little bits with you guys again because it kind of plants it in my brain. Because when you do listen to books, you don't catch every single word. The life force that fills the universe is not gentle or benign. It must be discharged, grounded in something real, because our bodies, our cells, are not meant to contain it, but only pass it on. Thus, the artist does not join in the physical frenzy because she or he is discharging that power into the painting. Similarly, the priest passes the power into the bread and wine. We function best as a channel for energy. Unless we follow the path of the high priestess and withdrawing from the world, we live our lives most fully when we create or are active. Create does not mean simply art, but an activity that produces something real and valuable outside of ourselves. Most people experience feelings of being powerful so infrequently that they try to hold on to them. By doing nothing, they hope to preserve their magic moments, but we can really hold on to power in our lives only by constantly discharging it. By releasing creative power, we open ourselves up to receive a further flow. However, by trying to hold on to it, we block the channels, and the sense of power, which is really life itself, withers within us. The spectator at the football game, even the possessed churchgoer, will find their excitement gone after the event that triggered it has ended. But the craftsman or scientist or the teacher, or for that matter, the tarot reader, will find the power increase over the years the more they discharge it into physical reality. When we look at the magician, those of us who feel a lack or flatness in our lives will be drawn to the wand raised towards the heaven. But the real magic rests in the finger pointing to the earth. That ability to create gives him his title. His image stems not only from the trickster conjurer, but also from the archetypal hero. In our culture, this would be Prometheus, who brought the heavenly fire down to weak and cold humanity. My eyeballs. Okay, so also I wanted to say, well, I give my eyeballs a break. That's why I listen to books, because my eyeballs hurt whenever I read too long. But I am going to take a picture of each and every one of these individually, I think. Don't hold me to it. And post, I'll post these either just on Instagram or I don't know how to do posts on YouTube. I've never done it before, but maybe I will. I don't know. But and so that way you can see it. But so if you follow me on Instagram, you'll see it there. Maybe today. I don't know. But we'll see. Oh, and you want to see? Here's the. I'm trying to hold the book open while I do this, but you can see the side by side here with the original and the illuminated one. I'll have to find the name of that. I can't remember. I don't have the book over here either, I don't think. I don't know where it is. I think it just came with one of those little tiny little white paper ones. All right. In the West, we tend to see wizards as manipulators. They learn secret techniques or make deals with Satan in order to gain personal power. This somewhat decadent image comes partly from the magicians themselves, since they make charms to find buried treasure, but also from the church, which sees magicians who deal directly with the spirit instead of going through the official priesthood as competitors. The tarot and the occult sciences are, in a sense, revolutionary because they teach direct salvation in this life through your own efforts. We can get a different concept of the magician through the image of the shaman or the medicine man. Oh, look, we have that too. Let me pull that. There's your shaman. And because no heretical church has arisen to banish the shamans, they have not become isolated from the community. They serve as healers, teachers, directors of the soul after death. Like the wizards, the shamans study and learn complicated techniques. Their magical vocabulary is often much larger than the everyday vocabulary of the people around them. None of this training, however, is used to manipulate the spirit or for personal gain. Rather, the shaman only speaks to become a proper channel, both for himself, so he will not be overwhelmed, and for community, so he can serve them better. He knows the great power that will enter him at moments of ecstasy, and he wants to make sure it does not destroy him and make him of no use to the people around him. Like the wizard, the shaman has developed his will to the point where he can direct the fire that fills him. At the same time, he remains open, allowing his ego to dissolve under the direct onslaught of the spirit. It says something about our culture that our wizards stand inside magic circles to make sure demons cannot touch them. I'm really there's different little parts here that keep popping up that remind me of the reading from today, and I just absolutely love that even their guidance in which books to read for the tarot study, the daily tarot study, ties in. Like it all ties in. It all ties together. Love it. We can apply the shaman attitude to our use of the whole tarot deck. We study the cards, learn the symbolic language, even specific formulas in order to give a direction to the feelings they arouse in us. But we must not forget that true magic lies in the images themselves, not the explanations. The divinatory meanings of the magician derive from both hands, the one which receives power and the one which directs. The card means, first of all, an awareness of power in your life, of spirit, or simple excitement possessing you. It can also mean, depending on its position and your reaction to it. Someone else's power affecting you. Like the Fool, the card refers to beginnings, but here, the first actual steps, it can mean both inspiration to begin some new project or phase of your life and the excitement that sustains you through the hard work to reach your goal. For many people, the Magician can become a strong personal symbol for creative force throughout their lives. I know this is long, but I think it's important. Even though I keep needing to freshen up. Okay. Secondly, the Magician means willpower. The will unified and directed towards goals. It means having great strength because all your energy is channeled in specific direction. People who seem always to get what they want in life or are often people who simply know what they want and can direct their energy. The Magician teaches us that both willpower and success derive from being conscious of the power available to everyone. Most people rarely act, instead they react, being knocked from one experience to the next. To act is to direct your strength through the will to the places where you want to go. The Magician reverse signifies in some way the proper flow of energy has become disrupted or blocked. It can mean a weakness, a lack of will, and confusion of purpose that leads to doing nothing. The power is there, but we cannot touch it. The card reverse can mean the lethargic apathy that characterizes depression. See, this so ties in with today's reading. In such a good way. The reverse trump can also mean power abuse, a person who uses his or very strong character to exert a destructive influence on others. The most direct example of this would, of course, be the psychic aggression of black magic. Finally, the Magician reverse indicates mental disquiet, hallucinations, fear, and particularly fear of madness. The problem arises when the energy or spirit fire enters a person who does not know how to direct it into outer reality. If we do not ground the lightning, it can become trapped in the body and force itself on our awareness as anxiety and hallucinations. Anyone who has gone through a moment of total panic will know that acute mental anxiety is very physical experience, a feeling of the body running wild, like a fire out of control. The word panic means possessed by the god Pan. I didn't know that. Boy, we're learning something new. The word panic means possessed by the god Pan. I didn't know that. Himself a symbol of magical forces. Think again of the lightning rod. It only attracts the bolt that runs into the dirt. Without that connection to the earth, the lightning would burn down the house. Several writers have commented on the relationship between shamanism and what the West calls schizophrenia. Shamans are often not so much chosen as found. If in our culture a young person experiences visions, fearful hallucinations, we do not know what to do with such experiences other than try to stop them by drugs and self-control. But in other cultures, such people receive training. This is not to say that madness does not exist or is not recognized in archaic cultures. Rather, the training is meant to prevent madness by channeling the experiences into a productive direction. The initiates learn through study with an established shaman through physical techniques such as fasting, how to understand structure, and finally direct these visionary experiences toward the service of the community. The Magician reverse should not be banished or confined. Instead, we must find the way to turn it right side up. Amen. And so it is. It's the end. Whew, my eyeballs need a nap. Where'd it go? I'll just use the shaman one again, but here we go. You can't see it anyway. Whatever. I'll take pictures of these cards individually and post them so you can see them. I might even be a good girl and post like what decks they come from. Like I'll look up that illuminated one. I can't remember if it's the illuminated one. It could be the golden. Oh, I think it is. I think I was totally wrong. I think it's the golden nouveau or something like that. Sorry. I'll look it up. I'll find the box. All right. Thanks so much. I will see you tomorrow. I think we're going to this might be the last book. I think so. We might be doing the guidebooks tomorrow. All right. See you then. Bye.